Hello, wonderful parents that care so much about your children. Today we're going to be talking about sight words, why they're important, and how to get motivated to practice sight words with your children. Sight words are words that don't follow the usual phonetic rule. For example, was should be pronounced was. Sight words have to be memorized. This can be very challenging for people with dyslexia because working memory is a weakness in dyslexics. Using a multisensory approach will take away the frustration and it will actually be fun. One multisensory method for sight words is the Davis method, which is forming the word in clay and also making a picture out of clay that represents the word. Our shows a picture of two people sharing a basket of Easter eggs. Carrie shows a woman carrying a big load of laundry and a little car because car is the first part of carry. Using the clay was pretty helpful, but we also used a technique that I learned from a blog called Homeschooling with Dyslexia. She said that she learned it from the Dyslexia Training Institute. I'm going to show you an example of this approach. The first step is to write the sight word on a flashcard and have the child say the word. Of course, if they don't know the word yet, tell them what the card says. And second step, trace each letter on the card with the back of a pen or a pencil and say the letter A, N, D, and then underline it. And as you say the word, do that twice. A, N, D, and. The third step is to trace the word on the table using two fingers. A, N, D, and. A, N, D, and. The fourth step is using the hand you write with. If you're right-handed, you're going to tap your left arm and go down. And you're going to say each letter on your arm and then underline it as you say the word. A, N, D, and. If you're left-handed, go up the right arm. A, N, D, and do that twice. Then if your child is writing, have them write down the word in a notebook. You want to practice the sight words you're learning until they can say it by sight 5 or 6 times and then put it in a pile for occasional review. Another multisensory approach that I liked to use with my kids was to get a cookie sheet and put some finger paint on it and then have them write the words in the finger paint. I also would have my kids make their sight words out of letter blocks because they're colorful and they're touching it and then they have that picture in their brain. So once they're familiar with the word and they're ready to just review them, this is very valuable because it can increase their rapid naming ability. Rapid automatic naming is the ability to efficiently retrieve phonological information from permanent or long-term memory. For example, quickly naming digits, letters, objects, or colors. It is one of the essential skills needed for literacy. Having trouble with rapid automatic naming is one of the key indicators of dyslexia. I got all of that information from the California Dyslexia Guidelines, and I'll put a link to that in the description. You see how important sight words are and practicing them. How are you going to actually make this happen? Number one, set aside a time in your routine for it. Write that down as part of your schedule. Small but consistent chunks of time are much more effective and helpful than long, sporadic practice sessions. Another key to remember is to not expect perfection. The teacher may say to do it every day, but if you practice sight words 3 to 5 times a week with your child, they are going to be making a lot of progress. Here are some possible times you could put practicing sight words into your routine. At homework time, at reading time. We've also written down certain words that my child was struggling with on flashcards and put them around his bed on the wall to practice them at bedtime. And in the past, when I used to drive my kids to and from school, we would go over sight words on the way there. So keeping a copy of the words in the car would be helpful. Another thing I do is I have a plastic poster on the wall in the kitchen and I write my son's spelling words and sight words that he's working on that week on the poster. I have it in there because that's where we do homework, at the kitchen table. But if you have the sight words in the kitchen, you could also review them at mealtime for just, 10 words or something like that. Right now, I practice sight words with my son at homework time, but if some reason we forget or run out of time, we'll do it at reading time. That's it for today's video on sight words. Please check back in on my channel every Tuesday and Thursday. I make new videos for parents of kids with dyslexia and ADHD. Please consider subscribing to my channel. I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscribers by my 40th birthday at the end of this month.